Welcome to the Windermere Union Church's annual intergenerational Christmas pageant. We're so glad you're here, and we hope that you will enjoy the story. So sit back, relax, but don't close your eyes because something magical is about to happen. Once upon a time, there were no computers and there were no rulers. Of course, there were rulers like kings and queens and presidents and emperors, but there were no sticks with inch markings so that you could measure how long something was or how far away something was. There was, however, a way to measure distance, but it was not too accurate. The ruler, not the wooden stick, but the person of the town, believed that if he walked heel to toe, one step would be a foot measurement. In other words, his foot measured a foot. Every time you walked forward heel to toe, you walked 1 foot. Now that may sound very clever, but rulers changed, and not every ruler has the same size foot, and not everyone in the town has the same size foot as the ruler. Come along and see how much difference there is between a size 8 and a size 9 foot. The day was just beautiful. There were large fluffy clouds in the blue, blue sky. The birds were chirping. The butterflies were playing tag with each other. The olive trees were in full bloom, and the squirrels were running along the branches, jumping from tree to tree. Mary's back was aching, and Joseph just had to put the finishing touches on a crib that a neighbor had ordered. Mary asked Joseph if they could take a break. She carried food in a basket, and they sat next to a stream. The water in the stream was refreshingly cold, and Joseph filled his cupped hands with water and gently offered some to Mary. Mary was going to have a baby, but not just any baby, and Mary and Joseph loved each other very much. One day, an angel appeared to her and told her that God had chosen her to be the mother of his son, and the child would be named Jesus, that he would be great and be called the Son of God. An angel also appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying that God had chosen Mary to give birth to his son, and his name would be Jesus, and he would bring love to the world. While Mary and Joseph were enjoying their picnic, Joseph's brother came running toward them. Unrolling the scroll, he read, I, Emperor Augustus Caesar, order that all people go to the cities from which their families had come. You must all have your names written on the list. Mary and Joseph looked at each other and shouted, Road trip! They would need to travel from Nazareth to Bethlehem. They packed their suitcases, loaded them on the donkey, and started their journey. It was a long trip from Nazareth to Bethlehem, down the mountains to the River Jordan, along the River Jordan, almost to the end, and then up the mountains of Judea to the town of Bethlehem. The scenery was lovely, and Mary and Joseph were very, 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 very tired by the time they arrived in Bethlehem. There were no vacancy signs, and there were long lines of people everywhere. Joseph saw a barn in the distance. As he approached it, a cow walked out, tipped his hat, and by some miracle said, Howdy. Joseph explained their predicament. He and his wife had traveled a long way, were very tired, and could find no place to sleep. The animals immediately broke into song.
Be our guest, put our service to the test. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
And the cow continued, saying,
Please join us. We aren't expecting any other visitors this evening. It is very quiet in the barn, and we will be happy to sing you to sleep. We hope that this bright star hanging in the sky won't disturb you. We will provide breakfast for you in the morning. We have plenty to share. Carla Chicken can provide eggs, my wife can provide milk, and Peter the pig can collect some of the apples, which have fallen from the trees. If you get cold, Lucy Lamb recently made a blanket. You will be happy in our cozy little barn.
That night, baby Jesus was born. Rainbow Owl gently sang him a lullaby. God wanted to announce the arrival of this newborn babe, so God called together two of his favorite angels.
Favorite angels, come hither. Faith and hope, it is so good to see you. I need your help to spread the word about this wonderful child. So please find the shepherds in the field and the wise men in the mountains. Invite them to visit the baby. He can be found lying under the shining star. And sing, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
The angels took off to accomplish their jobs. Their first stop was in the fields, which were dotted with white. The shepherds were sitting around a campfire and were startled by what they saw. The angels assured them that they meant no harm and that they were sharing the news of the birth of the Son of God. The shepherds asked where they could find the baby and how far they would have to travel. The angels told them they would find the babe under the brightly shining star in Bethlehem, and that they would have to travel about 3,500 feet. The shepherds packed their sheep and started on their journey. Now remember, these shepherds were young men and had small feet.
One little, two little, three little footsteps, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 footsteps, 3,500 little steps on the way to Bethlehem.
But there was no shining star, and there was no babe wrapped in swaddling clothes. However, this is where they were told to go, so they sat down and waited. The angel's next stop was the mountains where the three wise men lived. Again, they warned these people they came in peace with great news of the birth of the King of Peace. They were also told that the baby would be found under the bright shining star, and they would have to travel about 5,280 feet to Bethlehem. Of course, the wise men argued about whose foot was the correct size to measure 1 foot. 1 foot was too small, one was too large. After not being able to make a decision, they decided to call in the Marines for help. It was quickly determined whose foot was just right, and the wise men were ready to go. But remember, the wise men were adults, and their feet were large. Finally, they prepared their camels, remembered to take gifts for the baby, a rattle, pacifier, and blanket, and they started on their journey.
One giant, two giant, three giant footsteps, 5,279 footsteps, 5,280 steps. It's a mile to Bethlehem.
The wise men saw the sign that said bright shining star, but they had only walked 5,100 steps, so they kept going. When they arrived at 5,280 steps, there was no sign and there was no baby, but they sat down and waited. God was sitting on a cloud and watching what was happening on earth. He was also questioning the wisdom of the wise men. God had hoped that everyone would be in the barn together, celebrating the birth of this baby who could make angels sing, this baby who could make the stars shine. However, God had to go to plan B. If you can't bring the people to the party, bring the party to the people. Suddenly, the sky was filled with hundreds and hundreds of glittery lights and spinning angels, and the most beautiful music they had ever been heard. Even though the shepherds and wise men weren't at the stable, their hearts could feel what their eyes couldn't see. While the shepherds and wise men watched this miracle in the sky, the animals in the barn celebrated by dancing the barnyard polka. And baby Jesus smiled. Life is a journey, and God always meets you wherever you are on this journey. Wherever God meets you, there is love, and on this particular night, God sent love in the form of a baby. So open your arms wide and accept this gift of gentleness, laughter, unconditional love, tenderness, and warmth. Hold on to it forever, and know that however many steps you take, this love will be there a step ahead of you. Merry Christmas, everyone.